Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 294. We have a 6-person panel tonight. We have 2 big topics. Of course, if you want us to talk about something else, you can super chat. But just like Chad Gable survived the Wyatt 6, Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt. So that guardian angels were looking out for him. Why do I mention that? Because Donald Trump's in the WWE Hall of Fame. Am I correct on that, gentlemen? And that's a wrestling guy, and I'm going to mention that. So scary stuff, but luckily, and someone unfortunately did die. But let's talk about wrestling tonight. And we're going to go around the table. And Jerry, I'm going to start with you. How's it going?
Not too bad other than Kentucky humidity. Just here to talk about some wrestling. It's getting more difficult to get on the show. You always have people coming through. So I'm glad I actually got to be on board this time.
I set up a chat again, so we can communicate a little bit better and get some different people on the show. That helped
immensely.
Of course, Kelly's been on the show recently, so we have a new person there. I know Michael Peters is going to come back for 300 for sure. But here we are with this 6-person panel. Walter Cruz, what's going on? Mr. Reliable, you were off last show, although you did show up late. But here you are again. What's going on?
Nothing much. Good to be on here. Good to see Jerry. I feel like it's been a long time.
It's been a bit.
Yeah. Sitting here like, welcome to Cali with all these burns and sun peeling and stuff. But I'm here.
Well, stay tuned. You know how this works. And Jeff wanted me to go to him last. So, Big G, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. Wanted me to go last. I'm doing pretty good. I had my first week of summer term back in school. Other than that, we had a not really busy news week, but we got some good topics to discuss tonight. So, like I always say, let's get this ball rolling, baby.
Now, we don't have Jeff Jarrett on topic. However, if the NoDQ Galaxy sends in the super chat, we might be talking about Jeff Jarrett, who everybody knows is Big G's favorite. So stay tuned. All right, Aaron, I'll go over to you next because Jeff is walking out to pick up his package. What's going on?
He hates Jeff Jarrett that much?
Let me clarify that. His Amazon package.
Well, actually, Jeff knew that I was going to be mentioning
he never did clarify
Trump because we got a super chat already from Michael who sent in $2. He says, shout out to WWE Hall of Famer Donald Trump, USA. There you go. That was a very scary situation with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And apparently if he had just not turned his head in that split second, things could have ended up very different for him. So, yeah, not much else to say about it. It's major news right now, and we got SummerSlam coming up. A lot to talk about with that. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Said, say his name and he appears. I believe in Big German. I guess that's a shout out to Big G.
Yes.
And everybody's on the Joe Hendry bandwagon right now. They're on the train.
I'm not yet. Not me. Not yet. I've started watching some clips so I can see what it's all about. But I'm not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
Doing the due diligence, Bertie. We appreciate that.
Sometimes if somebody came out to the NXT arena in the Performance Center and they farted in the ring, people would start chanting, "You just farted." They'll cheer for anything. Let's be real here. That's the NXT fan base. They will pop for a broom. If the broom, if a guy had a match with a broom and the broom pinned the guy, the crowd would be buying broom T-shirts.
Speaking of you just farted, speaking of you just farted, where's Who Farted?
I know.
Isn't he one of our chat? Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Hoof Hearted hasn't been around, and Hank Schrader on the shitter hasn't been around. I hope they come back, maybe for 300.
Maybe they change their names.
Some people lose interest in wrestling, and they don't follow the product too much, and thus they don't really follow the
And
YouTube
boy,
videos.
are we going to talk about that, Aaron, in our main event tonight when we talk about the road to SummerSlam here. There's some interesting things about the main event scene. Can't wait for that.
All right, now I'll answer this one. Teacher in Color X sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, is WWE still going to be on Peacock after the Netflix deal? And will old Raws be shown on Netflix as well? So here's the deal. For 2025, the Netflix deal is for Raw on a worldwide level, but everything else will be available other areas. Peacock will still have the WWE deal, I think through 2027, somewhere in that area, a couple more years. I'm not sure the exact date, but yes, WWE will still be on Peacock, and we'll see what happens with the Netflix deal. If it's very successful and Netflix is happy, maybe down the line, everything WWE might end up available on Netflix. I mean, that remains to be seen. And they might put some stuff on, but I'm thinking Peacock will still be the primary source for the WWE tape library until that deal is up. So that's the answer to that question. And then Michael brought this up. I know, Virtue, you were joking about this earlier. Maybe you weren't joking, actually. Stephanie Vaquer debuted for WWE last night. She did, and she was at Forbidden Door, and she had a really good match with Mercedes Moné. And I even mentioned on that stream that she would probably be signed by WWE or AEW. I figured it was pretty much a given. Now, Virtue's like, well, until you've actually wrestled on mainstream television, then
Sean Garner asked me on Twitter to talk about her, and I said, who? Not everybody watches New Japan, and of course, me, I'm selective about AEW. I don't know every single wrestler Tony Khan brings in to wrestle for him. But if she's in NXT now or whatever, and they develop her, I'm sure I'll be exposed to her more, and maybe I can have an opinion at a later date.
Right. I mean, the Forbidden match was the first time I saw her wrestle.
In all fairness, Virtue, Tony Khan probably doesn't even know all the wrestlers he has at this point.
Right.
True.
Well, I pointed out when the announcement went out about when Shawn Michaels put the tweet out about welcoming her to the family, I pointed out that 10 days before that, she was on what was essentially the female main event at an AEW pay-per-view. She was fighting the most heavily touted female on the roster with all, people seem to love Toni Storm, whatever, but people are all about Mercedes right now as far as the management goes. And that seemingly ever-present blank check with Tony Khan couldn't keep somebody happy for more than a night because she was the WWE within 10 days.
There you have it.
So major, regardless of where she debuts, as far as like on the main roster or on television, that little snippet of that news bit is going to be major, and it's going to be a long-term major effect on both sides. I feel anyway.
Yeah. Now, I do want to mention that it's actually March of 2026 for the Peacock deal. So still a couple more years left with the deal. Shout out to Tom, who sent in a $2 super chat. Not sure if Tom had a comment or a question, but thank you for that super chat, Tom.
Maybe he wanted us to talk about John Cena.
Maybe.
There you go. Can't see it.
Walter, you got a comment?
I was just going to say, if they bring back old Raws to Netflix, can we please put The Rock's concert back in? Because Peacock erased that. Like, it's edited out of that Raw.
Shame. I mean, that's uncalled for, man.
I mean, not the concert, the one he did against Vicky Guerrero, where he did the You Look, that one. It's edited out.
And that's a cover. That's not like they don't have to pay Eric Clapton royalties for that.
No.
Yeah. I think
a parody, actually.
I think everything should be available on Peacock, even if it was something offensive. I mean, Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers cartoons, some of them did not age well, but that was a product of its time. And you don't have to say, oh yeah, this was great taste or whatever. I mean, times have changed, society evolves, but I think that content should be available to people that want to watch it. They don't have to like what it stands for. Just understand it was a product of its time. The world was different back then.
If you go on Disney Plus and watch like Peter Pan or one of the older movies, they'll have a suggested warning saying, this may not be suitable for just because how they portray.
But by that same token, you will still never, ever see Song of the South on Disney Plus.
No.
So,
no.
But if you try to watch that episode, it jumps straight to when CM Punk came out and attacked him.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
So one more super chat here before we officially get started. Shout out to Psycho Jet Black, who I'm sure has got some some great ones for us tonight. Psycho Jet Black says, "Hey Aaron, ask Jeff if he loves Goldberg. You love Goldberg. You love Whoopi Goldberg, right?"
I adore Whoopi Goldberg. She was a guest star on Star Trek all those times. She hosts The View, which is, hit or miss for me. Great in Ghost. Love Whoopi Goldberg. Absolutely.
I thought you were talking about the ABC show myself. So.
Oh yeah, well,
that one's okay. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Goldbergs, but it's an all right show.
I like the whole '80s backdrop for it. It's pretty great.
Michael sent in a $2 super chat. I don't know the answer to this actually. Is Katie Vick on Peacock? Never checked. To be honest, I've never checked myself.
Not.
Believe it or not, I've never had the interest in going back and watching that segment again.
Never had the urge either.
I was about to say, if they kept necrophilia but got rid of like anything that The Rock ever said, then there's some sort of like weird judging character and content going on Peacock.
All right. Well, anyways, let's get into the meaty topics here. I'm actually really interested in everybody's thoughts on I guess the half year end.
That's because we just did a show Tuesday, and there goes Jeff. I was about to let him have his introduction that he didn't have, but there he goes. But since we just did a show last Tuesday, I was like, all right, what do we talk about? Obviously, besides Bloodline stuff, and this is what we're going to talk about in the first topic here. And we do have a 6-person panel. Jeff, you got your introductions here before we start, or you wanted to start?
Oh, no, just glad to be part of the NoDQ review again. It's always fun to be back on the mothership, as Dusty Rhodes would call Saturday night. Always good to be here. Yes, sir.
All right, so you're back, and now Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat and wants to know, hey, Aaron, ask Jeff if he loves Mickey Mouse. Do you love Mickey Mouse?
I mean, I got the shirt on, so, you tell me. Big fan of the mouse, absolutely. Hopefully a bigger fan starting tomorrow, but we'll see.
All right.
There you go. All right, here we go. First topic. We're about halfway through the year, and midway through 2024, who is everybody's, and this is opinion piece. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of similar answers for one in particular, but this is going to be interesting from the wrestler side of things. Midway through this year, who's the best booker? Again, in your opinion, and of course, NoDQ Galaxy, you can chime in the chat. Best, so booker / promoter, however you want to look at it. Male wrestler / superstar, and female wrestler / superstar. And this is across all the board. You can even count that new girl you were just talking about. So I will start with Jerry, since he has not been on in a while. You got 3 answers here. Because you're what?
Is it because I'm white?
I don't know, but I'm just going to start with you because you haven't been on in a while. With that said, you can elaborate on these too, just kind of why you think. So go ahead.
Well, I guess the easiest one would probably be saying Triple H at this point, because he's actually done very well getting the Raw and SmackDown brands back on track and everything. But I'm really liking what Shawn Michaels is doing with NXT at this point. He's actually brought some eyes back onto the company. Granted, it also took, shifting or getting some help from TNA, some talent from there moved over. But I think that's just really cool. It kind of doesn't really open any kind of forbidden door, but at the same time, it actually gets them exposure and NXT exposure. And just the all-around action and the booking and the storylines on NXT have actually greatly improved since the Funfetti era that we got during the 2020 pandemic. So I'm actually going to say Shawn Michaels is doing it for me at this point.
Okay.
So that's promoter / booker wise is where I'm at for that. Male wrestler. I'm actually gonna have to still say Will Ospreay at this point. Which is kind of different for me, because I actually like I haven't really been paying much attention to AEW at this point, because a lot of what's been going on over there, it just seems like it's repeat stuff, and they keep on having people moving out and moving in. It's just really hard to keep track of it like AEW anymore. That's why Tony Khan is very, very far below on my promoters and / booker type thoughts at this point. He didn't even crossed my mind really. But Will Ospreay has just been the complete package, and then him putting over not really putting over, but him losing to Swerve Strickland, showing he's this top star, like, Swerve Strickland is the star of that company. That's just good business. And that's just going to, promote a better locker room, I would think, in the long run. Female wrestler-wise, she doesn't get a lot of TV exposure, but Marina Shafir has actually come a long way since she actually was, like, a part of Ronda Rousey's little stable there and Shayna Baszler's stable. She's really vastly improving in the ring. I've watched her a whole bunch of her independent matches that she's had since then, and also her work in, like, these, I don't even say dark matches for AEW because they're on Collision and Dynamite, and on the Collision and or Colossal and whatever kind of show AEW has at this point. But anytime I see her in a match, it's actually way better than when she started out. So I could see promise if they actually would put her on television.
Okay, I mean, those are great choices. Those are all people that I know other wrestling fans would highly consider. Jeff, now someone in the chat, I think his name was Porky, said that you are greater than me. That's what they thought they said, but since they put the 3 little greater signs in a row from my type of work that I do in business, that actually means you lead to me. Whatever that means. You
Exactly.
Exactly. So anyway, go ahead. And your choices here, Jeff.
I am the original face of NoDQ as far as on camera, and I've led everybody to NoDQ and to virtue. So thank you, Porky, for reminding the world that 20 years of consistency, by God, gets virtue on the FaceTime. So yes, thank you. Now, in all seriousness, if I can be serious for a minute, since it's Lance Storm's brought up for no reason. Booker-wise, I got to go with DX, Triple H, or Paul Levesque, and Shawn Michaels. They're both. I go with consistency, and WWE has been consistent throughout the first half of this year. Pick your brand, and you've got a steady something that catches my eye. Male wrestler is going to be, and again, consistency. Trick Williams. He has just improved by leaps and bounds on that brand. Won the championship WrestleMania weekend, and has been that brand's standard bearer. Female wrestler, for me, it's a tie. I'm copying out. I really don't care. Roxanne Perez, again, consistency from her, but I have loved the way they've evolved Liv Morgan. People are going to hate me for that, especially my dad's tag team partner, who we're going to have dads after the NoDQ review tonight. So I'm going to have fun trying to defend my favorite female wrestler of the half year being Liv Morgan to JJ, but I don't really give a shit. She's been fun to watch with Dom, so I'm looking forward to see what happens tomorrow with Rhea being back. That's going to be fun as hell to watch. But for now, Liv's my favorite.
Okay, no, again, you got to kind of look at it through your lens based on what you've seen so far this year from them. So again,
sure,
hard to argue there. Walter, go ahead.
I feel like we're all agreeing. It's like I kind of want to be.
Oh, wait till my turn here, but go. There might be some surprises.
All right, let me be there. I'll say JJ and Jeff are the best bookers because they did the whole Forbidden Door thing and they booked a hell of a better show than Tony Khan did.
Thank you for that.
No, but seriously, it's got to be Sean. Like what he's done to NXT. The fact that Noah watched NXT live last week kind of tells you what the hell Sean has been doing with it. So that's that. The booker. In terms of favorite wrestler, I gotta agree with Jeff and say Trick. The obvious one is Joe Henry. Everyone's people are gonna try to think we're saying Joe Henry, but I'm gonna say Trick. He really turned himself into a star, and his whole entrance with. I mean, Booker T is obviously the emphasis and helping it with the and what he does during Trick Williams' entrance, but he really became a damn star, and the way he came back in that match where he was behind Jeff. Help me. What's the name of that match where you get locked in the cage? I can't think of the match right now. The match when you get in the penalty box. No, when you get in the penalty box when you lose.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway.
What is it?
Yeah. Why can't I think of the name of the match? Oh
maybe
my God.
Chat,
it's going to pop in the head.
Yeah,
it'll pop in my head in the middle of talking. But what he was down by 3 or 4 by 3 or 4 falls, and then he just got 3-4 falls right at the last second. Like everything he did, he just screamed star. What's up there?
Walter, that was 2023, so that doesn't count.
Nah, yeah, all right, technically. But I'm just talking about his entire
24
rise.
so far.
Yeah. So he's kept the momentum going. So trick. And with the female, I'm gonna say my mama sees the Lola Vice. And not just because her assets, people are gonna think of her. No, it's the way she's actually one of the females that really have merged MMA into WWE. That whole style, like I've seen on Twitter, I've argued with people like fighting that her finishing move isn't can't be taken serious because it's just a spinning back fist. Fight MMA and go get hit by a spinning back fist. Go see how that feels. People have been knocked the hell out and don't know where they're at. Once you get hit with that and your equilibrium disconnects, it's over. So that's a legit move for me. And the way she's able to actually combine wrestling and MMA, she's becoming the star, and she's becoming what Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey should have been. And it's like I feel like they got a real chance to like do it and improve on the mistakes they made with the previous MMA people who've converted to wrestling. So it's got to be Lola Vice for me.
So we're getting some like answers. I can feel the passion here. People wanting to pick their own. Like, just this is interesting. I'm kind of like wanting to not skip you, Big G, and go right to Aaron. But I'm going to go to you next, Big G, because like I have these names in my head and no one's hitting them yet. And it's interesting. It is opinion. So what's your take on that? And then again, not that anybody has bad answers, because you watch wrestling how you watch it and you follow who you like. Remember how I liked Roman way back, when nobody liked him. Go ahead.
Now look at everybody. So yeah, obviously, it's Hunter or Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels for me too. Just the fact that NXT Battlefield Las Vegas pretty much sucked me back in to watch NXT on a regular basis shows you that they're doing a good job. And Triple H too, even before like he kind of took over took like actual control back at WrestleMania 40. He was doing good stuff before then, but WrestleMania 40, they, people were saying it's one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, but yeah, they're WWE is doing it for me on all cylinders right now. As far as male superstar, I'm gonna have to go with Gunther. I mean, he even in going into 2024, he broke the longest reigning IC championship. He won King of the Ring. I guarantee he's gonna win the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam and have a nice lengthy reign with that. And just it's been a couple years, but just the shape he's gotten into from when he first debuted in NXT UK back in 2019 to how shows you how much he wanted to be in WWE by losing all that weight and getting into shape. Female superstar, I wanted to say Liv Morgan too, because she has come a long way, but I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley. Yeah, she got injured just a while back ago, but she had a hell of a 2024 as the women's world champion. Like Jeff said, I can't wait to what happens on Raw tomorrow night with her, Liv and Dom, because like I said before, we're going into this Netflix era, and they're just going to be pushing all the boundaries. So
there you go, though. Like you went. I mean, again, that everybody's got different answers. Some overlap, but there you go, Big G. I like those because you went with a lot of the hottest ticket in town, main roster WWE stuff. Aaron, I'm going to go over to you now, and I know some super chats came in as well.
Okay, so first of all, Booker of the Year is not Tony Khan, not Shawn Michaels. I think you guys are overrating him just a little bit. Like, NXT is solid, but I haven't been watching on a weekly basis. I'm still not. And until that happens, until they got me hooked, I can't go with Shawn Michaels. I go with Triple H. Triple H has been on fire with the main roster, Monday Night Raw as of late. Wrestler of the Year, Will Ospreay technically is great, but he's not my pick. I consider kayfabe a little bit. And who won the Royal Rumble? Cody Rhodes. Who beat Roman Reigns for the WWE title at WrestleMania? Cody Rhodes, who has been the flagship of WWE. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, I think, is way above everybody, and Trick Williams is not even close. So with all due respect, I would very much say Trick Williams is not there. Again, I think you're overrating NXT just a little bit.
Female wrestler now. Come on now.
Female wrestler. Rhea Ripley got injured, so I can't go with her. Second half of the year, she might take it. I have to go with Liv Morgan. Entertainment value, she has stepped it up. This has been her best year of her career. The stuff with Dominic is pure gold. I'm loving it. And she's really, finally, after all these years in WWE, she has reached that level that people have wanted from her for so long.
Yeah.
I'm highly entertained with everything she's doing. So from pure entertainment, I go with her. I think she's my pick. So there you have it.
And Aaron, just to make it quick, I definitely 100% agreed with Triple H and Triple H alone. He navigated that whole Royal Rumble WrestleMania, Rock, Cody, Roman thing. You know, remember how we all had, not everybody, the Cody fans obviously didn't, but like the Roman fans, the people that wanted Rock and Roman, Triple H navigated us through all that, and we were still compelled. Cody Rhodes, he's the guy that's there every week. He's still the hottest ticket in town without Rock and Roman and Brock Lesnar there and only John Cena from time to time. Cody Rhodes, remember I've criticized Cody Rhodes, right? The summer of boring. Punk's been injured. Seth Rollins was out. Cody Rhodes is the one there, and he's making it compelling still with the bloodline and what's going to happen with Solo, which we will talk about. So you nailed it there as well. Yes, I chose Cody Rhodes up to this point so far because I'm trying to be a realist. I'm not looking at it as like the fan like I used to with Roman. And back then I felt like I was a realist. That's why I chose him. And Liv Morgan, you almost sold me on her. Her and Rhea kind of cancel each other out. One showed up on the other. And I go with Toni Storm. And I give kudos to something in AEW. So you can't don't think I'm a complete AEW basher. Those are my picks. Aaron, back to you because some super chats came in.
You know what?
I'm surprised no one said Drew McIntyre.
I was Drew McIntyre.
I thought about him.
I thought about him. Yeah.
Cody, look, Triple H, Cody, they're the ones making it happen. Still the hottest ticket in town. And Toni Storm now with an angle going on over in Dynamite, and that works for me, man.
Yeah. So
and
let me
if
respond.
CM Punk wasn't injured, I think everybody would have gone with CM Punk for most of 2024.
Yeah. Problem is, he had
between Punk and
Sean
Drew,
Garner,
back and forth.
Timeout. Sean Garner, Toni Storm's losing it all in. Who cares? That's what you eventually lose. He was on my case about Roman eventually losing. Well, no crap. That's what happens in wrestling. So Toni Storm builds his character. She should pass the belt on to somebody else at some point. That's what makes the whole run great. Go ahead.
Yeah. The chase is better than the catch.
Very true. Teaching in Color X sent in a $2 super chat, says, y'all a lot messing with Toni Storm. She's been good. Hey,
yes,
Virgil just picked her, and
I
she
picked
would be
somebody
my number
AEW.
2. Maybe number 3 because Rhea's up there as well, although I take into consideration Rhea getting hurt. But Toni Storm, as far as AEW goes, I might actually put her if we're talking about the entire roster, including the men and women together, I might actually put Toni Storm ahead of Will Ospreay. As great as Will Ospreay's wrestling has been, Toni Storm has, in my opinion, been a better character than
entertaining
Will
as
Ospreay.
hell.
You know, I'm the translator of messed up typing, but he meant not lot.
All right, thank you for that. We appreciate that. She's really been one of the best parts of the shows on Dynamite and Collision if you watch it. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat, says best female wrestler Rhea Ripley, best male wrestler Roman Reigns. And you know what? Those are great choices, but Roman took off time after WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley got hurt. So, if we're talking about like 2023 plus the beginning of 2024, then you would have to go with Rhea and Roman, I think. And I believe they did win the NoDQ male and female superstar of the year polls in 2023, and rightfully so. I think both of them were definitely the right choices. Walter?
As an honorable mention, a lot of you said Liv, so you got to give Dom credit because it takes two. The what he's doing with her, he's part of it too. So honorable mention for Dominic because
for female,
for male, because you need both of them. You need both of them. This whole story wouldn't work if Dom wasn't making the facial expressions and rejected it the way he did. And I mean, the little funny stuff, like when they walked away, he said there better be some nuggies or something. Like he said something that was like really funny, like off air.
Yeah, he said there better
people
be
know
some
that he
nuggies
loves
and
chicken
tenders.
nuggets and tenders. So it's just hilarious.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the pick Will Ospreay, not that I hate him, I don't consider what you do in a wrestling match to amaze the fans that like that stuff. Like that to me doesn't sway me to like somebody. You have to have all aspects of it.
Exactly.
And like I said, I know I always lean towards sports entertainment, hence maybe why I chose Cody over Ospreay, but I chose Toni Storm. Why? Gimmick, story, you know? So they can do it.
Yeah, and that's
people were invested when Mariah laid that belt upside her head and bludgeoned her with that shoe. People were completely taken aback by the end of Dynamite. It was beautiful television.
Even my wife, who doesn't really watch AEW, was out here, and she was like, "What the f am I watching?" Because she likes Toni Storm just because of her booty. Let's be for real.
Well, I guess that they did it that way because Jeff Jarrett was on that show and he couldn't be the heel, so he made sure somebody did the shoe gimmick.
Yeah. Watch for the shoe.
All right. We got a couple more super chats here. Psycho Jet Black says, "Hey, Aaron, do you like Trick Williams?" I like him. I think he's going to be a major star, but I don't think he's really stole the show on pay-per-view when he's in a singles match. I think his best matches are when he's in there with other people. And yes, the Iron Survivor Challenge was very well booked. That worked out really nicely. But then again, that was also 2023. I think he's going to be a major star. He's still got time to grow. I still see him in NXT for a couple more years. I definitely think he needs some more time, and he's not quite there yet, but he's well on his way. And we got a $2 super chat from Psycho Jet Black says, "What's more over, Song of the South or Retribution?" What's Song of the South again?
That's the Disney movie that was made released in the 40s that will never be released on home video because of all the racially controversial themes of it. But it's still more of a Retribution because people still talk about Song of the South now.
So I mean, again, you put anything versus Retribution, it's probably the other thing.
Yeah,
let's be real here.
Mustafa Ali is probably the single most thankful person that TNA actually had some sort of vitality left in it because he was able to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so bad.
All right, TJS sent in a $5 super chat. So this is off topic, but
God damn it, Tyler.
Virtue can answer this because for me, I have not heard the new album yet. I've been out and about. I was in Lake Michigan area this past couple of days, so I haven't heard the album yet. TGS says, "Thoughts on Eminem's new album, thumbs up or thumbs down?" And he also says John Cena's put over people long enough recently, and he should win every match of his tour. I think he will win a lot of matches on his tour.
Yeah.
And he might even win the world title. But Virtue, I know you liked the album, so give us your thoughts on it real quick.
Thumbs up. He's great. And, he turned from his original stuff. I know some of his original fans kind of didn't like what he did later in the 2000s. He got very pop, had a lot of people do not backing tracks, but whatever they call that, chorus lines in his songs, like singers. And he went back to more of the Slim Shady, the original stuff in this one. And he said a lot of controversial things. It's not as great as the original first few albums, but man, it's good. And it's stirring the pot and pissing some people off. And it's selling like ridiculous. Like it's already platinum, I think. Just unbelievable. Crazy.
Crazy cash.
Yeah. Me and my wife were just finishing up on the way home today after breakfast, and that last song hit us. Somebody Save Me with Jelly Roll.
Yeah, with Jelly Roll and the one about his daughter.
Now, see, that turns me off. I don't like Jelly Roll.
You have to listen to it in order though, because it's a single theme. Don't skip. Listen to everything back to back.
Listen to I saw a list of them ranking the best songs on the album, best to worst. This must have been like a snowflake writing on Billboard because they had all the mushy ones at the top, like the best songs, which that's somebody's taste. I get it. But he has songs called Antichrist, Evil, Lucifer. That's classic old school Eminem.
Yeah.
They coincidentally ranked those as the worst songs on the album. And again, if you listen to those, Aaron, being an original Eminem fan, those might hit for you.
Not they go together too.
Not that they're demonic or anything. He just used those.
Obviously, you
they're just catchy. They're catchy.
It's a concept album, so you gotta listen to it from front to back.
But anyway,
or it doesn't
off
make
of
sense,
Eminem,
so.
back to wrestling, Aaron.
All right, Psycho Jet Black says better rapper Jelly Roll or Bo Rider. I mean, come on, Bo Rider every day of the week. And like I said before,
Jelly Roll's not a rapper. He's a singer.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever he is, Bo Rider is better, and Bo Rider needs to bring back. Bo Dallas needs to bring back that gimmick at some point, just like Bray Wyatt did.
Firefly Funhouse type stuff.
What was the workout character called?
Muscle Man.
Muscle Man.
Yeah, it was the Muscle Man dance.
Yeah. Whatever that gimmick was, we need a little bit of comedy. We need Bo Dallas to bring back Bo Rider for a cameo at some point. At Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, how mad should Rhea Ripley be at the rest of Judgment Day? I mean, especially if Finn Balor's pulling some strings, I think she's got to be really mad. I think all hell's going to break loose. Walter?
She shouldn't be mad at Priest. Priest always had her back and was loyal.
Yep.
So they might branch up. Priest gets immunity on this one.
Yes. Yeah, I think she should be mad at Dom for sure, mad at Balor if he's pulling the strings, and mad at JD for the sheer size of his head.
Make dumb him.
It's just because the
Funko Pop is in effect. But anyway.
It's because the rest of his body is so small. That's why his head looks big.
Shit, I can't.
Make Funko.
His head's so large because it's full of dreams.
Oh, that's actually kind of sweet, Jerry. I like that. That's cute. That's good.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. Says, what NXT, TNA, and Ring of Honor stars can you just not get into? I mean, for me,
fairness to everybody.
Probably a bulk of the ones that are in those companies. I mean, I'd have to think of the few that I actually think are standouts, and maybe Jordan Grace, but not too many of them. I think are real standouts that could potentially be at a higher level than where they're already at. And I hate to say it, that includes Joe Hendry. I'm not sold on him yet, but Virtue, you have a similar viewpoint on that?
That would be one. Like, again, I started watching clips of him to see what this buzz is about. And this, like, again, I'm not saying he's not talented with the gimmick, the singing, the stage presence, turning around in the ring, looking at the camera. But, like, we had Elias do this and people loved it. And now all of a sudden it's the best. And it's different. It's similar, but it's different. Now all of a sudden the best fresh sliced bread is Joe Hendry. This is indie wrestling syndrome. Fans want to call out who they think is going to be the next big star because they watched him before he was popular, and that's exactly what's happening with Joe Hendry. You got to prove it to me on the big stage. I've been that way with what's his name, LA Knight, right? He was in TNA. I was like, okay, entertained, great. Yeah. He went to NWA. I'm like, do this on the big stage. Now he's in WWE and he's slowly grinding up there, but that's what I want to see. Can you entertain me? And it could be AEW too. When I say the big stage, I mean the most nationally, globally televised wrestling company.
Right.
Joe Hendry is not there yet. Maybe he will be, but I'm not one of those that has to adore somebody when he's underground before he's popular. And I know a lot of wrestling fans like that. They want to let everybody know when somebody does get popular, hey, we were the first. Hey, right now, Aaron, Joe Hendry seems like one of those guys. He has to prove it to me.
Yeah, and Virtue, I will admit, I was not sold on Enzo when he was in NXT. I'm like, why do people like this? And then he got on the main roster and was killing it, and I became a fan. So
I still don't get it.
Maybe Joe Hendry will become a big deal, but right now it just comes off like flavor of the month to me. Mm-hmm. So anybody else got an opinion on?
Are we caught up?
I think we're caught up and ready for the main event.
Main event time. Okay. SummerSlam's era or season is now officially here. So should we be okay if Solo is the one to get the big title match against Cody? Because watching SmackDown this Friday, that's where we're led to believe that could happen. I know Randy Orton's lurking down the road. They could do a turn on Cody and it could be Randy and Cody, but Roman's still not around, right? Rock's always the one with big booking in Hollywood. He hurt his elbow. We can wait for him. But Roman, yes, his dad just passed away, but should we say at this point there's a possibility heading into SummerSlam he will not be billed on the card? He could be a surprise showing later in the show, get a huge pop. They've done that before with him. But I'm starting to realize he might not be billed, and it just takes my interest down a little bit from wanting to go to the show since I do live near Cleveland, but I'll still watch it. So what does everybody think? Walter, start with you.
Honestly, I don't think Roman's coming back SummerSlam. I think he's coming close, like more like Bad Blood. Just the fact that blood is in that name and there's bad blood, it kind of might boil over with them. But in terms of the Solo, I'm fine. Solo deserves it. Right now, he's running the show, but I know, honestly, Solo is supposed to be like the new tribal chief, and I'm watching it. I'm paying attention to me, and being honest, I think Jacob Fatu is kind of overshadowing him. It's like the stuff he does, and like he's such a monster, and the moves he does. It's just making me a bigger fan of Jacob Fatu, and we're supposed to be liking Solo now and being behind Solo. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't mind him having the title shot, but for some reason, I just feel like Jacob Fatu was overshadowing him, and I just don't mean height-wise. I mean, it just seems like Jacob Fatu is kind of taking over the bloodline. I don't mind at all Solo getting the title shot. He deserves it. He's running it, but I feel like Jacob Fatu's up there too, and he's just taking over, and people are like behind Jacob more than they are Solo. But I do like, you can tell Solo was getting better on the mic. The people started cheering for Roman, and that little crack that you don't deserve Roman, you don't get Roman, you got me. That wasn't, you could tell that was off the top of his head, and it was a quick reaction to what the crowd is. So Solo was really starting to show his own character. So I respect him for it. So I don't mind at all. But I really think Roman, in terms of when he's coming back, it's bad blood that he's going to come back at.
Think about this, Walter. SummerSlam is going to be in a stadium, and they're rolling. They might roll without the huge names of Lesnar on the card, obviously for obvious reasons. Still, Roman, Rock, again, busy guys. Cena could still be on the card at this point. We don't know, but that's how hot WWE is right now. They're selling their brand, and they can just take their key players that they have now and not have to rush back to have the big blockbuster names yet. But I sure hope Roman's part of SummerSlam.
When's the last time you could say that too? That they can roll on without the big guys? Like it's been quite a while that you can say that.
Crazy. All right, Jeff Meacham.
Yeah, that's okay. I know it's big. So I've been thinking since they laid out Paul, and then they, like you said, they took out Randy on SmackDown. Oh, sorry if you didn't see SmackDown. Spoiler 2 days later, but oh well. It's what it is. I feel they're going to continue that path and take out Kevin Owens, leaving Cody alone. And Cody goes into this, basically by himself. And when Solo can't get the job done, his bloodline will interfere, and that's when we get the reunion of the Usos and the return of Roman Reigns. That'll be at SummerSlam. That'll be the final segment, is the original bloodline, the cousins, Roman and the Usos, coming back together, surprisingly, to aid Cody. And then maybe at War Games, instead of everybody it's going to be Sammy and as part of that. No, it's Cody and the Anawahis against Solo's bloodline inside the double cage.
You think that stadium in Cleveland with 60+ I don't know how many people they're going to seat there, but it's a football stadium. You think they'll go nuts if that happens?
I think
big time, because that would be 3 times the amount of an arena.
I was going to say, I think they'll go pretty crazy when the Usos music hits, but when that when that tribal chief music hits, they're going to lose their nut. It's going to be beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and I would be fine with Roman not being billed, but as long as if that happened, that moment happened, and it would set up oh crap, we were heading out of the back end of 2024, and that leads into WrestleMania season.
Yep.
Here we go again.
I think it's very much akin to what G's talked about for the last couple of years, of the anticipation of CM Punk's arrival, sold that place out and popped that number on whatever it was, Rampage or whatever. Yeah. I think the same thing happened to SummerSlam. People will believe truly in their hearts they're going to see Roman Reigns come out, so they'll show up.
Yeah. And let's not forget, SummerSlam should still have, hopefully, Punk and McIntyre. So that's blockbuster. Punk obviously moves the needle. So they do have that.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I think we're going to find out a lot more even starting tomorrow because Pierce is supposed to address McIntyre's shenanigans. So I think we're going to get a lot more information before we reconvene here next week.
All right, I'm going to move over to Jerry.
I like their ideas, but I think it's too early to bring the Usos back together or have them join up with Roman again. I'm not sure how Cody Rhodes keeps the title at SummerSlam, but I got a feeling he's going to. I'm of two minds. I can see Solo losing and Jacob Fatu and the rest of the new bloodline turning on him and just putting him out because they find him ineffective. And that's when you bring in Talalonga, the Hikuleu guy from New Japan that they hired, and he's going to be the fourth member of the bloodline. And they just bring back the original bloodline to face off against them, complete with Solo in the mix. But I like the idea of one of the last things you see at SummerSlam being like the bloodlines in the ring, pretty much dismantling Cody after Cody wins. And then you hear, ladies and gentlemen. And then, the second you hear Paul Heyman's voice, the place just goes nuts because they know what's coming. And, he announces himself and then announces his returning tribal chief. And the closing shot of the episode or the show is Roman standing there just raising his fist. And that's it. From there, you could have a storyline with him making amends with Jay and possibly Jimmy. And then just going from there, and I'm not sure how Solo fits in. Maybe Solo, like I said, maybe he still may end up getting kicked out of the new bloodline if he doesn't beat Cody. But I don't see that happening just yet either. But the whole idea of Paul Heyman coming out, probably with a neck brace and everything for being put through a table and whatnot, but just introducing Roman Reigns and having him come out. That the place would blow up, and Roman Reigns doesn't have to do anything that night. He just show up, and people will go apeshit.
Jeff,
to the comment about Richard Morales put in about how do you have Jimmy? If my theory holds true and Cody's getting beaten down, Jay comes out first to help his buddy, then Jimmy comes out to aid his brother. That's how they make nice. Then you bring Roman out to go, okay, I'm still the tribal chief, muckerfuthers. That's how you do that, Richard. Pretty. I know it sounds like I'm being condescending, but it's really, I've always said, not hard to book, just hard to finance professional wrestling.
I kind of want to see with the Usos, I feel like they got to earn it to get back together. Maybe one more match, and maybe Rikishi's got to be involved and give them a reason to reunite, not just randomly. But I'll be a little disappointed that they randomly, after all that, got back together.
My other thing right now is also the fact that I'm still of a mind that the Wyatt Six is actually after Jey Uso and not Chad Gable, and it's one big red herring. So him being put back into a bloodline right now, I would think would be kind of a step back from where he's at right now, because the Y6 is a pretty hot commodity, and the idea of Jey Uso versus Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy at SummerSlam sounds like it'd be a good match for me to reintroduce Bo Dallas into the actual ring, and it'd be fitting for the whole anniversary of when The Fiend debuted, and we got to go see that live, and that was so cool.
Well said. And look, the bloodline is still a hot commodity because we know, tied to the future of it, we're going to see Roman come back at some point, and we're going to see Rock again because he's part of this company. He is on the board of directors, and that almost guarantees him to return for the big show time late, early into 2025, heading into next WrestleMania season. So there's tons of anticipation. Big G, what do you think? I mean, a returning Roman, reuniting with the Usos, temporarily teaming with Cody as baby faces.
Yeah.
You always have Sami Zayn lingering. You could bring over Jeff Jarrett. He would be a great fourth member of the bloodline. Anyway. Go ahead, Big G.
Yeah. So as far as Solo getting the title shot at SummerSlam, I mean, I think he deserves it. He's done well as the villain tribal chief right now for the Bloodline 2.0. And like Walter, I agree with Walter. You know, I like Solo. Solo is getting like gelling into his own character, moving away from the enforcer. But I feel like Fatu's come in and kind of overshadowed him. He kind of Fatu reminds me a lot of Umaga. Like I see a lot of Umaga and Jacob Fatu. And yes, I know they're related, but just the way he moves in the ring, and for not really he's a tall guy, but not big guy, moving around in that ring that fast and literally taking everybody out on SmackDown the other night. But yes, I'm totally fine with Solo. As far as Roman coming or being on the build, I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think he's going to show up after the Cody and Solo match. Like everybody said, you know, the Bloodline 2.0 is going to beat down Cody after the match. You know, do we see Jimmy returning in the next couple weeks before, or do we see him showing up at SummerSlam? And I had the idea if he shows up like next week, Friday on SmackDown, because you got to think about it, you know, Orton's out. Well, Jimmy's out right now too, but he could show up. And then Owens, he's dealing with family issues, so he might not even show up for a while. But yeah, we could see Jimmy come back like the next couple weeks, and then Jimmy comes out and tries to help Cody at SummerSlam, and that fails. And then like Jerry said, you know, I was thinking of like way in my head already, like Paul Heyman's gonna come out, you know, introduce him and not say my tribal chief, but he's gonna say our tribal chief because everybody's been wanting Roman for the past couple months.
He corrects. He's like my tribal chief. Tribal chief. Oh, our tribal chief.
Yeah. And then I see Roman coming out, and I don't see. I mean, yeah, I see him standing on the stage and like doing his like fist pose, but then I kind of see like a beatdown going up, and then him and Jimmy throw up the ones, and then Cody's in the background. So, but we can all fantasy book till we're blue in the face, but we'll have to see what happens at SummerSlam. The anticipation.
All right, Aaron, over to you in the NoDQ Galaxy.
All right, first of all, let me shoot this down right now. People are saying in the chat room that maybe Paul Heyman might wrestle again. Come on. He's not wrestling. That is not happening.
Good God, no.
Get that out of
I can't believe he did the bump, but he did.
Yeah. That is
I know.
dumb.
He did.
That
and he took it like a champ. He's not going to wrestle. There's no friggin' way.
Why put that out in the universe? Like, why?
Not happening, guys. Get it out of your
The
minds.
only way Paul Heyman's going to wrestle is if he has a controller in his hand and he's playing the WWE 2K game.
Exactly.
And he's playing as Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but people in the chat room were bringing that up. So I just had to shoot that down. And here's the situation with Roman Reigns. SummerSlam is in Cleveland at the stadium. It's a stadium show. I think it's pretty much a sure thing. Roman Reigns is going to be there for his big return, and that's going to be the next turning point in this storyline. Solo facing Cody makes absolute sense to build up to this. I don't know if Roman will cost Solo or Cody will win and then Roman will appear in a post-match beatdown. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I suspect Cody will stay champion. We'll talk about this more in detail when we get to our predictions video in a couple of weeks. And we do have a couple of super chats here. But yeah, Roman Reigns, SummerSlam, I would bet money on him showing up. He might even be back on TV before that, but I could see them waiting until SummerSlam. I do like Jerry's idea of Paul Heyman doing the little introduction for Roman. I think that would get a massive crowd pop. You know, you get two crowd pops. You get the one for Heyman, then, you know, he sets it up for Roman, and you know that'll be one of the biggest crowd pops in wrestling history at the stadium for SummerSlam. I think that's almost a no-brainer that's going to happen. Colin Andrews sent in a $2 super chat. He said, Jerry. Shout out to the panel. Much love to you, Colin. Hope you're doing well. And Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. We were talking about this a little bit. Jimmy Uso will return before Roman at SummerSlam. There was a comment like about how we need to see like this play out. I think Walter mentioned it. Like it feels rushed if Jay and Jimmy are suddenly back together. So I'm not sure how that's going to be handled, but I still stand by what I've been saying. War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline. I mean, it's just printing
Bloodline
money.
versus New Blood.
Right. I mean, that has to be the match for War Games. Like, that is what people want to see. They want to see the OG Bloodline versus Solo's Bloodline. That is money.
Aaron, what's the pay-per-view after SummerSlam? Is that Bad Blood?
Bash in Berlin.
Bash in Berlin will be
There's that one, and then there's Bad Blood. Okay, right?
Yeah,
that's a lot of bees.
Set for September,
does Bad Blood, like, I know they had Cody in the commercial for that. Does that not scream Solo versus Roman?
Yeah.
I mean,
in a one-on-one? What's that?
So.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great place to do it. And they may even do 2 matches. They might do one in Bash in Berlin and a rematch at Bad Blood. And keep in mind, you got the Saudi Arabia show before Survivor Series. So you got time to do some singles matches and slowly try to get the Usos back together. Like, Roman is coming back, and he is Roman, but it's one guy versus the whole new bloodline.
One versus all, like his old shirt used to say, Aaron.
But, ultimately, even Roman's going to need some help, and I think that's when Jimmy comes into play, and then maybe Jay comes into play, and then perhaps Sami Zayn. We'll have to wait and see what they do.
I'll tell you what, Aaron, whatever they're writing so far and what they're going into, they're selling me into that new arena down there in Inglewood, whatever is the Intuit Dome, wherever it's called. If they're going to have a Survivor Series there, I might go. That looks like it's going to be a fun.
Is that the Clippers new arena?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they built it. They didn't tear down the forum, so I'm glad they built it. So, yay.
Walter?
With the whole Jimmy and Jay thing, I think you have to do what Brett did for Owen and British Bulldog, how like they kept fighting and he was the voice of reason. I think you got to do it with Rikishi, and you can do it in a faced way and reunite them. Like, let them keep going at it for a while, and then Rikishi out of nowhere is the voice of reason. Like, you guys are brothers, you're twins. Like, you literally got to stop. You got to slow build them coming back together. I don't want to see a rush job.
I don't want to.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't like Jelly Roll, but I'm old. I don't like music that was put out.
Please tell me, Aaron. Do you like Post Malone?
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
I don't either.
Right,
I'm not saying he's bad, just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't like really anything that's been put out in the last 15 years, but I think a lot of us, we tend to like what we grew up with. And in my case, I even like my parents' generation of music more than my own.
Retirement homes are going to be weird.
No, they are.
And I'm also more of a rock guy than
you're doing this
guy. I do like Eminem.
Foundations.
I do like a few others, but I'm more of a rock guy than a rap guy, to be all honest.
Aaron and I are so much more fans of our parents' generation's music. Like, we were born in the wrong era by a lot.
Pretty much.
It's pretty much anything like the older generations listened to growing up is what we listened to in the retirement homes. So we're gonna have them and everything playing for like 90-year-old people down the line. It's gonna be
so wrong.
But what's funny? Are we gonna be like, if any of us make it to like 80 or 90? Are we gonna be in the retirement home, and are they gonna play like Eminem, "The Way I Am" for all the people in the retirement home?
We need to do a NoDQ review reunion when we're in our 80s and just watch the hilarity ensue. Jesus.
Right. In the nursing home in your 80s, what wrestling theme are you singing?
Bobby Roode Glorious.
I believe in Joe Henry.
No.
I am singing Ass Man by Billy Gunn. I'll die on that hill. I don't care. Chasing the old ladies down the hall of my walker.
Hey, it's got to be one with lyrics. So maybe DX.
I was gonna say DX or no. I'll do King of Kings. I'm a big Triple H guy.
I remember the review 200. I said the guilty pleasure. It was that damn Billy and Chuck song. I'm telling you, that song used to get
Oh my God!
It's a guilty pleasure, man.
Springfield.
Seriously, there'll be a whole ward of the nursing home just singing Billy Gunn's themes for no reason.
Nobody said Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, sexy boy,
85-year-old.
Now get you thrown out.
I'll be singing.
You gotta do the Sherry version.
Yes, catch the Cherry version, or I don't care. Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta do Sherry's version or Sexy Kurt.
Oh, God.
I make them ankles hurt.
And they do because we're 85.
Don't forget the fabulous Rougeau Brothers and the Mounties theme songs.
We sing that dipshit song now, Aaron. Like, what the?
Oh, what about movie tonight?
Really,
I know what I'm going to
real
sing.
man.
Yes.
Jeff, I know what I'll sing. I'm going to have to sing Wonderful. It just changed the words to reliable.
The fact that Planet Jared hasn't come up yet is absurd.
That's right. Here we go. Yeah, we'll have Big G and I at the end of each hall. We're going, my world. And just strutting down the hall and trying to hold our walkers and our ankles. Oh, God. That's good shit. Oh, my God. What is wrong with us?
Crazy. That's it. What else, Aaron? Any other super chats?
We do have some.
Okay.
Let's get back. So first of all, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and says, "We may be old men, but at least we're still alive."
That's right. Damn it.
That's right.
Are we though?
Every day we're alive. You gotta be grateful for
That's
that.
it. There you go.
We're
Jesus,
in the
there you
matrix.
Okay. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Best rapper, Kurt Angle or Post Malone? I mean, come
Kurt
on,
Angle.
Kurt
Angle.
Kurt Angle.
That was one of the funniest segments ever in wrestling.
I would listen to Kurt Angle rap before like pretty much every rapper today, except for Eminem.
And he had Hebner doing the beatbox, the Hebner son, right?
Yes.
Did that.
Yes.
And the Kurt's like movement was just awkward, but yet so funny. It was good.
Seriously, Kurt Angle outwhites me when he's rapping. That's how good of a rapper.
Let me ask you this:
bad.
Virtue, does Eminem's album have like the dark humor that some of his early albums had? Like that's what I like.
At least half the songs. Like somebody in the chat earlier didn't like the direction of some of the song names because they were evil, satanic, and all that. But yes, he has zero give a f's.
I like when there's some
at least
humor
half
in
the
music.
song.
When they take themselves too seriously, I lose interest.
If you listen to Houdini, that'll take you right back to like
that was definitely
to the real
someone was telling
me.
Someone that I know is telling me that I need to keep re-listening to Fuels, one of the songs. I haven't done that yet. So maybe that's one to check out.
That's a good
too.
one.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking about rap and you're forgetting rap is crap.
Oh yeah, rap.
Come on,
rap is crap is glorious. That should actually chart it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it's a bunch of crap.
Hey, rap.
All right, so Tom Huxley sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Do you think The Rock will join the Bloodline?" I do.
Absolutely, 100%.
He technically did.
He's the higher power on this one, people.
He's the higher power.
I think we're forgetting.
Are these asking which bloodline though?
You know what? No Chance in Hell should also be a theme in the nursing home for the old guys that still aren't going to get any from the old 80s.
Well, if we're 85, you might as well follow us around with the casket humming the Undertaker's theme.
That's it. No YouTube for you. No Chance in Hell. That's it. Anyway.
All right, so This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Are you worried the Bloodline story will turn into NWO 2.0? No, because
Triple H is running the show.
Triple H, Paul Heyman, Brian Gerwitz. I think they know what
big ring full of Samoans. No.
There's a non-super chat you should get to, but go ahead and the super chats first.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Paul Heyman versus Shane McMahon pitch black match.
Winner gets custody of ECW.
There will never be another pitch black match. I think they learned their lesson with that.
Yeah, no.
They can get advertising other ways. They don't need to turn black lights on. No red lights.
The only thing that would be pitch black is the arena because everybody will walk out.
Yep.
In that match, it would be first person to not break a body part would be the winner.
Well, then Paul would win.
Probably.
Anyway.
Whoever keeps their quads intact. Yeah.
Right. First quad match. First person to tear the opponent's quad.
What a horribly morbid gimmick match. Oh my God, Riff. What is wrong with you? Oh my God.
Idiot.
I now need that match more than Dominic on a pole.
I know. Yeah, for real.
We got one more from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho, for the super chat. Says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how white are you? Well, I do have
Jerry's 10.
Thank you.
You said it earlier.
I was going to say 11.
You said it earlier.
42. The answer is always 42.
I got a little bit of a tan, so I guess 8, maybe 9 with my taste in music. Probably.
There you go.
And Virtue wears his sunglasses. 3.5. Virtue wears his sunglasses indoors, so I think that makes him
afraid of the light. I'm afraid of the light. Yeah,
that's right.
I listened to Neil Diamond for a nap earlier. I'm very, very white.
And then Psycho Jet Black, talking about the pitch black match,
my God.
Imagine a black light on any wrestling ring. Well, that
please.
Was ridiculous.
That's it. Psycho Jet Black with the deal breaker comment. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for that, I suppose. And what was the comment you wanted me to read off?
Your wife's wondering when you're going to be done, so you can join them for categories.
I guess we're going to wrap up now. Virtue.
You better wrap up. We're moving on without you.
That quad match, you got to make it a triple threat and throw Kevin Nash.
Categories.
Oh my
I played that. Listen. I used to play categories with my grandma when I was in the early 90s. That's when I used to play categories.
And in that match, you got to throw in Sid Vicious jumping off the top rope. Right?
No. God. I just ate. What's wrong with you? God damn it, G.
If Zuccarello hit propeller, it was nuts.
We're caught up.
Are we caught up?
We're caught up. Get the hell out of here. God.
Check,
last words, Jerry. I'll start with you.
Oh, God.
Thanks for having me on here. This was interesting. You can find me on Facebook on my group Armbar, capital ARMBAR ! I'm also on Twitter, but I very seldomly get on there. I've been progressively getting back to Twitter, but it's just not great for me. So thanks for having me on here, and hopefully I'll be on here again soon.
Thank you, Jerry. Walter, there you are. Go.
Yeah, on the socials, you can follow me on X at Walter Alex Cruz. And the dog poked me. I don't know what's on his fur. Instagram at Top Fire Farms and the at Rage of YouTube. Look at me at Rage of Wrestling YouTube. And Aaron, if you want to throw that graphic up, you can tune in July 27th with the entire Jeff Beacham Network. Presents UFC 304 live from Manchester, England. Edwards versus Muhammad 2, and with me and James on the call for that. So tune in for that. Saturday, July 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
He might have to go to the ER here. He might have to go to a local medical.
Seriously, did your dog maybe get attacked by a porcupine and you just got pricked with one of the quills?
No, he goes to the pond and runs around the grass right after, and the stuff starts sticking on him like that.
Okay.
Pokey stuff in the grass.
All righty. Well, thank you, Walter. Jeff?
We got celebrities dying, presidents being shot. Now Walter's going to die by dog poke. Jesus Christ. Crazy weekend. Anyway, this one's coming up across the multiverse. As Walter mentioned, we've got our UFC watch along at the end of the month. But this week, we're watching along NXT, AEW Dynamite 250, Impact, and Slammiversary, which is sold out. Good for TNA there. They're progressing. Yes, it's a 4,000-seat arena, but it's upward in movement, so good for them. Meech's Musings, Greg Sherry's show, Simply Predicting Slammiversary this week, open mic night. Luck of the draw for Greg Sherry brand. And coming up at the bottom of the hour here at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, the Dads Not Always on Wrestling will be live. So check that out coming up here in about 20 minutes or so.
There you go. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Over to Big G.
If Aaron wants to throw up that new graphic that I sent.
Brand new graphic.
Yeah.
So I dedicated my YouTube channel to my 2 cats. So go, if you like cat videos, if you're a cat person, go check out Harley and Joker 2021, X, Twix, whatever you want to call it, NoDQ _Big Baller G on the TikTok, Big Baller G 1988, and on the Insta and Threads, NoDQ _Big Baller G 1988.
All right, thank you. Big, huge, #1 Jeff Jarrett fan, Big G. Thank you. All right, Aaron.
Thank you.
Yeah, just stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Thank you all for a fun night. And, hopefully Trump's okay. He was taken to a local medical facility, as they said in the news report.
You know what? That shit popped me. I am not going to lie. I'm like, man, Greg Cherry, God bless him, had this Politics as a Work shirt out for like years. And the Trump campaign actually used the verbiage, I'm like, oh my God, that's too much. Like, on the real though, somebody innocent got their life taken away from them, and that's awful. The shooter got taken down, so good on the authorities. And like you said, Aaron, a slight movement the other way, and it's a whole different conversation. So whether you like the guy or not, thank God something like that didn't get to happen live on television. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you'll remember where you were when the news broke.
Yeah, and to the point in the chat room, he's been golfing today, so he can't be that bad off. He may be a little bit off on the equilibrium, considering he took a bullet to the freaking ear. But
he pulled a Hulk Hogan and basically no-sold that and popping up his fist.
He did.
That was crazy.
And you know what? That's whether you agree with the theatrics of it or not, it was a moment in time.
We're trying to find, some humor in all this, but like there was a comment on Twitter that popped me that like he knew where to look at the hard camera. He got that.
He did.
Kevin Nash. That was Kevin Nash.
Right?
When it first happened, I thought this is a work.
Yeah.
Trump did a TV show. He's been in wrestling. I'm like, this guy was trying to make it to get sympathy. And then, more news came out and, people could say conspiracy, this or that. And it was a lunatic. Clearly,
that's all it was. It's one of those, when you first hear the shots, like, okay, whatever. But then when he got brought back up and you could see he'd been grazed on the ear, it's like, oh, shit.
Of course you have the people with their conspiracies. Oh, he ducked down and did the little juice on his ear.
Did the Hogan blade job there. Yeah, there you go. Oh my God,
the CM Punk blade job.
Some people
and by the way,
too much wrestling.
Right? I was going to say something. And by the way, Hulk, if you're going to throw support out there for the former and maybe future president and have your beer thing do it, how about get your beer to more than 5 states? I'll go drink it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. I agree with this.
Yes.
Against any type of crime against anyone, and there's no place for that whatsoever.
No.
It doesn't matter if you like Trump or not. Like, shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you dislike the guy that much and you don't want him in the race, that's not the way to get him to bow out.
Right.
Because that was going to rally even more.
Yeah.
Stupid.
If anything, you helped the guy.
He did. You helped him completely.
God,
so good on you, you psychopath. Good thing you're dead.
Jeff, you got to do with the Randy Orton.
Well, and what these psychopaths don't realize, if they would have killed him, he would have been more prominent in history books.
Yeah,
he would have you would have made him a bigger image down the road. Like, these people don't rationalize. They just don't have that. They don't understand their craziness.
And you got 4 minutes.
I was going to say, we've been given a 3-minute warning from the green room and the wife, so we better get Aaron off the air here.
All right, but anyway, Aaron, finish up.
X.
Remember, Trump was in the WWE Hall of Fame, or is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's right. He is.
Did somebody say 3 minutes?
I did. Well, CT did actually, but
Teaching in Color X said, "Love you guys. Need to reach out to be on a video."
Yeah.
Okay, send a video to NoDQVirtue@gmail. Is that the address?
Yep, and I'll of course tag you as well, NoDQMISC@gmail.com.
All right, let's go and wrap it up so I can get to this categories game.
Yeah, you better hurry up.
Follow me on X.com if you dare, at NoDQ_Virtue. And those are the two guys that will lead me as a wrestling fan to the promised land through next year. But we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. That's it. Go to NoDQ.com/merch and get shirts like this for Aaron, for Big G, for Jeff Meacham, Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz, Jerry Slaughter, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. Good night, everybody.